There's nothing experimental about this. You are a complete, uninformed third-time idiot if you think that's the case.
And for Garrett to use the word idiot, Garrett's never come sit down with me. Garrett, you know my numbers. I'll raise money for you. I'll raise money. I'll support him in an election.
I'm gonna.
No. Let me finish. Garrett Graves has made a statement of a bonehead decision. And Garrett, I want to know one question. Did you come sit down with me and look at all the facts and figures?
I would love to.
Well, then let's go.
All right.
Let's rodeo.
Anytime.
The verbal clash between Chairman of the Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority, Gordy Dove, and former CPRA Chairman Garrett Graves over the fate of the Mid-Barataria Sediment Diversion Project reveals the project's long-standing polarization. In 2023, Louisiana launched one of the most ambitious coastal restoration efforts in its history. When the Mid-Barataria Sediment Diversion Project broke ground in Plaquemines Parish under former Governor John Bell Edwards, it was priced at $2.9 billion. The BP Deepwater Horizon oil spill settlement funds picked up most of the project's price tag. The massive initiative aimed to rebuild disappearing marshland by diverting sediment from the Mississippi River over 50 years.
The Corps of Engineers came in and suspended the permit. The United States Army Corps of Engineers suspended the permit for various reasons. We had to stop the financial bleeding of it. We did not start this project. It was started in 2023, 2 months before the governor's election.
In July 2025, the Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority announced the cancellation of the Mid-Barataria Sediment Diversion Project. News of the project's cancellation comes amid administrative changes within CPRA. Governor Jeff Landry has appointed Michael Hare as a new executive director of the CPRA.
I think this gets back to a regressive sort of pre-Katrina mindset where we're going to start doing things more political than we are science-based. And I don't think that you will find a coastal scientist, a coastal geomorphologist anywhere that would come in and say that you should abandon this project.
Garrett Graves served as chairman of the CPRA from 2008 to 2014. He led the development of the state's 50-year coastal master plan, first released in 2012, and the Mid-Barataria Sediment Diversion Project.
I think it's really an uninformed decision. Look, any project is going to have adverse consequences. And so I think, one, taking a look at the adverse consequences, things like what is this going to do to fisheries, those are legitimate concerns. But also it's important to keep in mind that all those things have been reviewed. There has been a federal environmental approval that has occurred after years and years, in fact, maybe even decades, if you look back at the origination, decades of reviews here. And so those things have been approved. Secondly, there is a $300 million mitigation fund in there to help address those concerns. The other thing is that the cost of this project has increased significantly. So I think that the state has an obligation to go back and look at it and figure out, are there ways to curtail these costs to bring it back down to something that's reasonable? I think that's an appropriate thing to do. But to totally abandon the project, I don't think that it really is taking into consideration legal consequences, financial consequences, and most importantly, what it's going to do to the state.
From the start, the Sediment Diversion Project faced significant legal and permitting challenges. Critics warned that the Mississippi River water was polluted and that pumping river water into the basin could threaten oyster beds, shrimp habitats, and even the local bottlenose dolphin population. Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, a former parish president of Plaquemines Parish, where there is widespread opposition to the project, has been an outspoken critic.
It was probably the biggest fraud that was being pulled over our eyes in Louisiana. And if you go back now and check who got rich off of the $700 million we've already spent, it's obvious this was being rammed down our throat, and they keep saying, well, the experts say. Well, the experts that say are the experts that made money off it.
In a statement, the CPRA said the project is, quote, no longer viable due to multiple factors, including cost, permitting concerns, and ongoing litigation.
Today it's 3.1 billion, and you have not bought everyone out yet because you only have 278 million to buy people out. You got to buy out 800 pieces of property, and that doesn't include Jefferson, that doesn't include Lafayette, that doesn't include Grand Isle, because the people on the bay, you're going to have all this water coming to them.
And how much would the state be on the hook for?
Well, the state would be off, just to start with, is hundreds of millions of dollars. Over a period of time, we have an engineer's report that says 1.7 billion to keep it dredged, because under state law, you have to keep all the bayous, the canals, all that's got to be dredged.
As part of the termination process, the CPRA reduced the canceled project's budget from $2.26 billion to $618.52 million, reflecting the funds already dispersed. Now, some warn the state is on the hook to pay back the federal funds and will lose out on the remainder of the allocated Deepwater Horizon funds.
We're going to redistribute $2.3 billion, and you heard me say all the projects we're going to do. We're doing it with that money.
But can we keep the money, even though it was allocated for the Mid-Barataria Sediment Diversion project?
Yes, that's our money.
As an alternative to the canceled Mid-Barataria Sediment Diversion project, CPRA is reviving the Louisiana Coastal Area Medium Diversion at Myrtle Grove, a smaller wetlands building project.